There are some who would reign in fear, but we are stronger together.
Ready to fight.
How's it going, guys and girls? Hope you guys are having a great week. Alright, here it is. It's my next game review. So this one is on Assassin's Creed Unity. So this is the first Ubisoft completely next generation exclusive AC game. There's been a lot of hype about it, a lot of media coverage. So is it actually any good? Well, I'm going to talk about the good, I'm going to talk about the bad, and then I'm going to give my overall opinion on it. So Assassin's Creed Unity, it's set during the French Revolution. In the game you play as the main character, a guy called Arnaud. It's set in Paris. It's very, very different from the last two Assassin's Creed games that we've got. In some ways it does feel very, very, very nostalgic. You know, there's certain points where you're running through the city of Paris, when you're climbing Notre Dame, you do feel like you're back playing Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed Brotherhood when you were playing as Ezio and running around Rome. So in that ways, I really liked it because it did feel very, you know, familiar, and that was one of the elements that I really loved in the original Assassin's Creed games. I love the history, I love the grandeur of old European cities, and that was really, really cool. But in the same sort of way, it is definitely a move away from the last two games. You know, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, they were all about freedom and exploration. The new mode of, you know, being able to go on the high seas and, you know, steer a ship, that is all gone. So if you really love that part in Assassin's Creed Black Flag and in Assassin's Creed 3, and that was the main part of the game that you love, then the chances are you're going to really, really, really miss that in this game. So let's get straight into the good. Well, the first thing that's really great about this game is co-op play. I'd say that's probably the best part of this game for me. It's really, really easy to do it. All you literally do is you go into the options, you hit play together, and then you select somebody from your friends list that owns the game and invite them in to play Assassin's Creed Unity with you. Then you can pretty much run around the city of Paris, free roaming around the city, doing whatever the hell you like, just having fun, wreaking havoc, or whatever you want to do. And then, of course, if you do feel like you want to actually play some co-op missions together, you can go in and do that. There are co-op missions and also heist missions. Now, heist missions basically are where you're trying to infiltrate a certain base and steal an artifact, and the idea of that is to do it without being spotted, to be completely stealthy. The more you get through that mission without being spotted, the less combat you get into, the better your reward is, and that is basically what a heist is. A co-op mission, those are actually based around a story. There are 12 co-op missions, each with their own objectives that you have to complete. Now, the co-op missions range from being sort of 4-player down to 2-player missions. They're actually really, really, really fun. Personally, I prefer to play the co-op missions with my friends. I don't really like jumping in to random games because you do really need to coordinate. The idea is to be stealthy, and unfortunately, if you do jump into a random game, you're just inevitably going to get that one person that's just running off, doing their own thing, getting themselves into combat, and therefore affecting your score. Now, you can make your own club. You can have up to 50 members in your club, which is kind of awesome. As part of that, there are also club competitions. They happen on a weekly basis. Each week, there'll be 2 maps that are picked by Ubisoft and 2 sort of actions or missions that you have to do throughout the game. And the idea is to get sort of sync kills and sync moves done together. The more you synchronize with your friends, the bigger the bonuses are. And at the end of the week, if you do win one of these club competitions, not only do you get rep and a banner, but you will also unlock some special armor or weapons or something that's just really, really kick-ass. So the club competitions are really, really, really fun, and I really enjoy them. The second part of this game, which is really awesome, is the customization. There is so much customization in Assassin's Creed Unity. You can customize weapons, and there are 6 or 7 different types of weapons, different classes of weapons. You can customize equipment right down from your hood, the armor, gauntlets, leggings, and there are even special skins that you can unlock in the game. Each of these pieces of your equipment, they all have their own stats. Some are focused on stealth, some are focused on range attacks, some are focused on melee, on health, and all those things. You can also upgrade each of these customizable pieces, and of course you can also color code them as well, so that you look awesome as you're running around the streets of Paris. Now, the whole color coding customization thing really is epic, and it really does lend itself very much to co-op play, because you can have 4 of you running around the city, each of you customized with your own special weapons and styles, just running around looking individual, looking different, and looking really, really cool. Third thing that I really loved as well in this is it does feel like the movement of Anno in some respects has been improved in places. Now, Ubisoft have introduced this new movement called ascent and descent. Basically it's just climbing for dummies effectively. It's so straightforward. It's pretty clever and it works well. All you have to do is hold down R2 and press the X button if you're playing on PS4, or the A button if you're playing on Xbox One, and Arno will climb. If you hold down the R2 and the circle button, Arno will descend, and he will do what's called a controlled descent. So in that way, it's pretty epic, you know, when you're at the top of Notre Dame and you're holding down R2 and descent, and he will just somehow miraculously leap off of the building, grab onto a ledge, and just descend in a very controlled manner. And so the parkour in this game is really, really, really awesome and really, really epic. Even running through across the rooftops does feel really, really smooth. In some ways, it does feel a little bit unrealistic. There are some things that Arno does where you're just like, how in the hell did you not break your ankles as you did that? But there are some moments that are just really awesome, and there are sometimes when you'll leap from a high roof down onto a lower ledge, and Arno will just reach out at the last moment and grab that ledge, and the camera will just focus right behind you, and as you're leaping down, it'll zoom in right behind you, and the camera angles are really what makes the movement feel fast and fun and just epic. The new ability to crouch as well using the L1 or the L2 button is really awesome. I don't understand why that hasn't been introduced before. This is a stealth game, so the fact that the main character has never been able to crouch until this moment, for me, was just like a complete revelation. But crouching does really work, and that's really, really cool. The last thing in this game that's really awesome is there is tons and tons and tons of replay value in this game. Not only is the main story and all the co-op missions involved, but there are a ton of side missions as well. There are murder mysteries, Paris stories, which are basically assassin stories, tons of collectibles to get. There's lots of loot and treasure chests. There's a really cool little lock picking function that you have as well. There's an underground tunnel system for you to explore. There are mysteries called Nostradamus mysteries, where you've got these sort of symbols that you have to give clues, and you have to find out where the next one is based on these clues. The murder mysteries for me were a really nice fun addition. I really like those. At those moments you go to a murder scene and you click on the eagle vision, you really felt like Batman, and that you were trying to find all these clues to piece together who actually done it. So in terms of value for money, there's lots of it here. You're getting a lot of value for money. So let's move on to the bad, of course, because this is a fair review, and of course this game had many problems with it too. The biggest issue I had with this game probably is the main story. While not a terrible storyline, it's not amazing. It's sort of a mediocre, I would sort of say. For me, the main story felt it was too short for me. That was my biggest issue I had with it. There are 12 sequences in total, which is the same for all Assassin's Creed games. Pretty much all of the Assassin's Creed games have had 12 sequences, which are then broken down into fewer, you know, memories within that. But it really did feel with Assassin's Creed Unity that each sequence only had 2 or 3 memories and were very, very short. And that's a shame for me. It does feel like the core storyline does feel much shorter. I remember back, you know, with the original Assassin's Creed game and Assassin's Creed 2, where a sequence would have 8 or 9 memories, and the main assassination would only be at the end of it. And you know, the majority of the story, you'd be building up to find out who that person is that you're actually trying to assassinate. You'd be building up to get a lot of intel and information. Hell, you're an assassin, so getting intel and information just makes sense. For me, it felt with Assassin's Creed Unity that they would just sort of get to the action. Do you know what I mean? You'd sort of find out the name of the person, and then, oh, there we go, you're on the assassin mission. And don't get me wrong, the assassin missions in this game were fun. You had like opportunities and things that you could do to strengthen the situation for you. They opened up, you know, distraction opportunities, and then you could open up, you know, special assassinations that you could actually do through exploring an area and the opportunities within that area. That was a really cool, nice new function, which I really liked. But it did feel like it just kept pushing towards that action. So for me, there wasn't enough character development, especially with the characters of Arno and Elise. At the beginning of the game, they were really, really interesting. I thought, oh, this is a really interesting premise. I really liked the character of Arno. I felt he was funny, he was witty, he reminded me a lot of a younger Ezio. And then for me, it just felt like it was a wasted opportunity. They didn't develop his character enough. As soon as he became an assassin, he became boring and just sort of one-dimensional. And that always seems to be a trend that's happening with a lot of the recent assassins. Even Edward Kenway, even Connor, you know, before they're an assassin, they're more interesting than after they become an assassin, which is insane. So for me, it just felt like a wasted opportunity for it. It also felt like they really wasted the backdrop of the French Revolution, which is really badass and really awesome. It has some great characters, Robespierre, Napoleon. I felt like they didn't take enough of advantage of those sorts of characters, and they didn't make enough of it for me, which is a shame. Really, I missed, you know, the time when they used to really take their time in developing a character. I remember when they had Ezio, and Ezio was spread right over sort of 3 games. Why can't they do that again? It does feel like every year it's the assassin of the year. Do you know, like, hell, they could bring out a calendar like over a 10-year cycle or 12-year cycle of each assassin they bring out every year. It is insane. So I really would like to see an assassin, a main character that is developed not only in 1 game but over the course of 3 games, so we can actually see some really great character development. Another thing that was really bad with this as well is in some parts of the game, some of the stealth elements really didn't work. There were times when Arno would just get stuck on objects. I'd be running after somebody, chasing somebody down, and there'd be a random chair in the street and I get stuck on it and I couldn't move. The cover system, the new cover system that has been introduced, while a great idea, it's too sticky for me. It really didn't work. You know, you have to press the X button to get into cover, and Arno would just take too long to get into cover and then out of cover. It was just too sticky. For me, the better thing for them to have done would have been to have introduced a non-stick cover system like they had done in Tomb Raider. I think that would have worked much better for the game. So I really didn't like the cover system at all. Another thing I didn't like as well is I felt that the AI was sometimes very, very consistent with the enemies. Sometimes they would spot you from a mile away, or they'd spot you too easily through a wall, which for me just sometimes was like, that's complete BS. There's no way that they saw me through that wall. And then sometimes they just give up too easily. You know, you'd run away and regroup, and they just start chasing you, and then all of a sudden they just give up as if it was just too much effort to continue looking for you, and it would just reset everything so you could go back in and just assassinate them all. I want to see better AI in AC games, especially after what we've seen in Shadow of Mordor. Why don't they bring in things like the Nemesis system? I think that would be really, really awesome. Lastly, the worst thing with this game as well, when it came out, of course, was the infamous bugs and glitches and frame rate issues that came with this game. Oh my god, I just want to play this game. Oh my god! Jesus Christ, is this what games have come to? Freaking hell. I literally just put this game in and now I've got to download a fucking 900 megabyte download because this shit's probably broken.
Day 1 patch?
God's sake, Ubisoft, get your friggin' act together. When this game was first released, it was released in some respects in an unplayable state. There were too many glitches where you get stuck on scenery that were just game-breaking glitches. The frame rate issues that would just affect your enjoyment of the game. You wouldn't be able to enjoy the story. It was ridiculous. Having to introduce a 6 gig patch is unacceptable for me. I mean, of course, Ubisoft have offered an apology. They have offered a free DLC in the form of the new Dead Kings DLC, which, you know, good on them for doing it, give them respect for doing it, but it's still unacceptable for the game to be released in that sort of state. They are just bringing out too many AC games too regularly every year. I'd be happy to wait 2-3 years for a really good AC game. The Assassin's Creed franchise is a very good franchise. You don't need to bring out one game every year. Hell, they've even announced another Assassin's Creed game called Assassin's Creed Victory at the end of this year. Why is Ubisoft bringing them out so regularly? It's almost like Ubisoft are feeling insecure or don't have faith in the franchise. You know, it's like AC is becoming like the Call of Duty for Ubisoft, and it doesn't need to be so. It is a good franchise. We will wait 2 or 3 years for a good game, Ubisoft, so please stop doing that. Alright, so overall, I would say Assassin's Creed Unity is an okay game. It's not a brilliant game. There are too many bugs, too many glitches in there for my liking. The story isn't strong enough for it to be hitting those high numbers, but in the same front, it's got a lot of replay value. It's got a lot of value for money, and you know, some of the new mechanics do really work really well, and exploring Paris is a lot of fun. So overall, I would give Assassin's Creed Unity a 7 out of 10. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, I would recommend for you to go buy this game. The chances are you're going to really enjoy it. If one of your friends has the game, I certainly would recommend you going to buy it, because just playing cooperatively with your friends is heaps of fun as well. But if you are new to the franchise, there are better Assassin's Creed games out there, so you're not going to miss a huge amount by not buying this game. But overall, it's a good game, and I would give it 7 out of 10. I don't think this game is worth buying at full price. I certainly would recommend you buy it for £20 or £30 definitely, but anything more than that, it's not really worth the money. Alright, so overall, those are my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Unity. So what do you guys think of this game? Have you played it? Did you enjoy it? What score would you give it out of 10? Please let me know in the comment section below. Have a great day, guys and girls. Take care, and as always, happy gaming.